Rey Mysterio is set to be inducted into the class of 2023 WWE Hall of Fame, and we now know who is going to be inducting Mysterio into this year's Hall of Fame class. John Cena made his return to WWE television this past week on Monday Night Raw, but what's his availability going to be between now and WrestleMania? Dragon Lee makes his in-ring debut last night at an NXT live event. The Miz is going to be hosting WrestleMania this year, and just how long has that been planned for? Cody Rhodes comments on what his peers have said about him main eventing WrestleMania 39. Ric Flair blasts Dutch Mantel on social media. A pitch for a women's mid-card championship has been revealed. Jerry the King Lawler, we have an update on him after he was hospitalized after suffering from a stroke. The Usos pass an impressive milestone as tag team champions. Charlotte Flair says she used to be uptight, but she's not anymore. And Big E comments on his pro wrestling future after his broken neck. Hey guys, welcome back to Wrestling News 365. Hope everyone is doing very well. As always, there are plenty of news stories to get into in the world of World Wrestling Entertainment. And let's start off talking about Rey Mysterio. Let's talk about him being inducted, of course, into the WWE Hall of Fame class of 2023. And we now know who is going to be inducting the Master of the 619. Following the announcement that Rey Mysterio will be inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame, the major name set to induct Mysterio has been revealed. It was confirmed on March 10, the edition of SmackDown, that the legendary luchador will receive his Hall of Fame ring during this year's ceremony. With Mysterio crossing paths with many influential names over the course of his career, there has been a lot of speculation surrounding the name who will introduce Mysterio as part of the class of 2023. Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer newsletter now reports that KONNAN will be inducting Mysterio into the Hall of Fame. Noting that Mysterio specifically requested for it to be KONNAN, Meltzer tweeted, quote, "KONNAN will be inducting Rey into the Hall of Fame. Rey asked for him, and the company approved it. As noted last night, to me, it was the only choice." Mysterio and KONNAN, of course, have been associated with one another for the majority of their wrestling careers, with KONNAN trained by Mysterio's uncle, Rey Mysterio Sr. The AAA creative team member is notably the godfather of Mysterio's son, Dominic. He also represents Mysterio in all of his contract negotiations, so it shouldn't be too much of a surprise that KONNAN indeed is going to be inducting Rey Mysterio. Now, when it comes to Mysterio in terms of what else he's going to be doing WrestleMania weekend, it looks like he's going to be facing his son, Dominic, on the grandest stage of them all. Tensions between Rey Mysterio and his son Dominic were at an all-time high on this week's edition of SmackDown. On the show, WWE announced Rey as the first inductee into the 2023 class of the WWE Hall of Fame, but he was unable to get a word out on the show before Dominic and the Judgment Day came out to interrupt him. Legado del Fantasma came to the aid of the future Hall of Famer, sticking up for Rey before their match with the Judgment Day. Legado's recent face turn and alliance with Rey Mysterio may have seemed rather sudden, but there appears to have been a reason behind the shift. Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful Select reported that while specifics are not yet known, the company does indeed have plans for Legado del Fantasma over WrestleMania weekend. The wording of Fightful's report is certainly interesting, as WrestleMania weekend does not simply cover just WrestleMania itself, but also the Hall of Fame and NXT Stand and Deliver event. Of course, a main roster star in Johnny Gargano is set to wrestle at NXT Stand and Deliver, returning to the brand to take on Grayson Waller. So it certainly is possible that maybe, just maybe, we could see them wrestle on the NXT show, or they could be involved in this big Mysterio storyline, which they are currently on WWE television. Now, one person who is going to be wrestling, of course, WrestleMania weekend is John Cena, facing off against United States champion Austin Theory for the US Championship. And a new report has provided some clarification on John Cena's availability ahead of his return to the ring at WrestleMania 39. On the March 6th edition of Monday Night Raw, Cena confronted Austin Theory before it was officially announced that the duo will go one-on-one at the April event. Following some confusion about Cena's schedule ahead of WrestleMania, Dave Meltzer reported in this week's Wrestling Observer newsletter that the 16-time world champion will be available to return to WWE TV over the next several weeks, as his Ricky Stenicki film has wrapped filming. Meltzer has now clarified that Cena won't be appearing on every episode of WWE television between now and WrestleMania, noting on Wrestling Observer Radio that Cena's time is still limited. Quote, "That movie was done on March 4th. That movie was done last weekend, but he's got another movie he's starting up on, so his time is still limited. It's not like he's going to be on TV every Monday or Friday or anything. When he's free, he'll be there." Now, ahead of his Raw appearance, Cena confirmed that he was filming for Grand Theft Lotto that same day. Cena was recently a guest speaker at Cody Rhodes and AEW star QT Marshall's Nightmare Factory training school. Pictures were circulating on social media, so again, Mount's a little bit inaccurate with his reporting regarding the availability of Cena, but if he's free, he indeed will be on television. Now, an exciting new signing to WWE, of course, has been Dragon Lee, and he's now made his in-ring debut. Newly signed WWE star Dragon Lee made his in-ring debut on Saturday, March 11 at an NXT house show. The non-televised event took place at the St. Petersburg Armory in St. Petersburg, Florida. The former AAA star made his WWE in-ring debut against Eddie Thorpe, former New Japan Pro Wrestling star Carl Fredericks, and photos can be seen on the screen right now. As noted, Lee made his WWE debut this past Tuesday at the NXT special Roadblock event on television. His debut was just him in the crowd waving before the six-man tag team match between NXT champion Bron Breakker, the Creed brothers, Jinder Mahal and Inductor. Lee signed with WWE back in December last year, which happened shortly after he and his brother Dralistico had defeated FTR to win the AAA tag team championships. Due to Lee signing with WWE, he and his brother had to relinquish the titles. His older brother Roosh is signed with All Elite Wrestling. Lee's WWE contract will run for 3 years and his pay will increase each year. His contract made him the highest paid star on the NXT brand after former NXT Women's Champion Mandy Rose was released. It's worth noting that his WWE debut was stalled for a few months due to visa issues. Lee was only 18 years old when he made his pro wrestling debut. The first title he won was the CMLL World Lightweight Championship in 2015. He's also a two-time Ring of Honor World Television Champion, a two-time Ring of Honor World Tag Team Champion, and a former IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion too, and expect to see more of him certainly in the coming weeks and months on NXT television. Now, WrestleMania is rapidly approaching, and of course, The Miz will be hosting WrestleMania this year. Now, stars including former two-time WWE champion The Miz recently announced he will be serving as the host for the event, rather fittingly, with it being in Hollywood, of course. While many stars are hoping to earn their place on the card at WrestleMania, that isn't the case for The Miz, as he reportedly knew he would be in a non-wrestling role for a very long time. Sean Ross Sapp of Fight for Select noted that The Miz being the host for WrestleMania has been the plan for, quote, several months. Of course, The Miz has been a big part of the Seth freaking Rollins and Logan Paul feud in recent weeks on WWE television, with him holding the face-to-face between the two men on this week's edition of Monday Night Raw. So The Miz reportedly has known for a very long time that he was going to be the host of this year's big WrestleMania event. Now, Cody Rhodes, he's of course going to be main eventing WrestleMania this year, and the American Nightmare is set to main event WrestleMania 39 after he won the men's 2023 Royal Rumble match. Cody is set to face off with Roman Reigns for the undisputed WWE Universal Championship on the show, and the graphics for the match have been made. Cody spoke to Sportskeeda's Wrestle Binge, where he discussed a reaction to his match from his peers in wrestling. Cody said that he's trying not to be too high on the love he's getting from his peers, saying, quote, "I will say that it's been the poster came out WrestleMania the other day, and the amount of text I got from people in the industry that I worked with a ton of times, but also the people I worked with just maybe one time, the amount of love that was given was really, obviously I'm a sentimental guy, is very touching, but also really put a level of responsibility on me. It's great to hear someone say he's the right guy to face the guy, but for me personally, I have to go out and execute. I have to go out and deliver. It can't just be a pipe dream. It can't just be hope. It has to be hope and execution, and that's where I'm at. So I've tried not to get too high on the love that I'm getting from my peers in the business, or get too down on any criticism that I might be getting as well, just because none of it matters unless you go out there and execute and give them something to really just love and cherish. WrestleMania being the biggest thing we do, that's what I aim to do." So Cody trying to not get too high on both the praise and criticism that he may receive. Now, Ric Flair blasting someone on social media is nothing new, but Ric Flair is back at it again. WWE Hall of Famer Ric Flair had some harsh words for former WWE star Dutch Mantell, branding him a, quote, miserable old wrestler. Dutch recently discussed comments made by Flair regarding his last match event last year, where Flair claimed he made $300,000 for the event. Dutch responded to Flair by saying, quote, "I've had people write me and seriously, people thought he was gonna die. I think he passed out a time or two in there. He doesn't even remember it. Ric Flair is now trying to leave a legacy. He should have left it alone or changed a lot of things in that match because his legacy is now tarnished. I don't know. Ric Flair is full of shit and has always been." Flair then took to Twitter last night to react to the comments made by Dutch, saying, quote, "Thank God they only used the word veteran and didn't call you a legend. Just a miserable old wrestler trying to make a buck. And by the way, you never had a legacy to begin with. Woo." He then followed up with another tweet saying, quote, "I just made you more famous than you'll ever be from a single tweet. Woo." Now, Ric Flair calling someone a miserable old wrestler trying to make a buck? I'll let you be the judge of that term. Now, a mid-card female championship. Well, it was pitched by a former champion in WWE. WWE Monday Night Raw star Dana Brooke has revealed that she pitched for the 24/7 championship to become a women's mid-card title. After spending most of her 2022 in the 24/7 title picture, Brooke officially became the penultimate title holder when the championship was retired that November. After losing the gold to Nikki Cross on the November 7 edition of Raw, Cross threw the title into the trash, or at least attempted to. She missed, marking the last time the title was seen on WWE TV. In an interview with Fightful, Brooke noted that she had a lot of ideas for the gold, including turning the title into a women's division version of the Intercontinental Championship. Discussing her pitches, Brooke said, quote, "Oh my God, yes. I had a lot of things I wanted to do with the 24/7 title. I felt like it was honestly everything that I represent. I represent champion every single day, whether it be in the ring, outside of the ring. From the moment I wake up to the moment I go to bed, I try to be a champion. So I had a lot of ideas and a lot of passionate things I wanted to do and be serious with it. I wanted actually to transition it into a women's intercontinental title because I feel like that's something that would motivate women to keep going and have something else to fight for." The women's division on the main roster currently has 3 active championships: the Raw Women's, the SmackDown Women's, and the Women's Tag Team titles. And of course, there is a mid-card championship in AEW, so it is something that WWE, I suppose, could consider doing in the future. Now, we have a positive update on WWE Hall of Famer Jerry the King Lawler. Of course, Lawler suffered a medical episode at his condo in Florida on Monday afternoon, February 6. It was later confirmed that the medical episode was indeed a stroke, with an update from Lawler's Twitter account stated that he's expected to make a full recovery, noting, quote, "Update on Jerry after suffering a massive stroke. He is now recovering in a Fort Myers, Florida hospital. His speech is limited, but with rehabilitation, he will regain a full recovery. He thanks everyone for the continued prayers and will be back in the near future." That's what was said at the time. And per PW Insider, Lawler has recovered enough to return to his home in Memphis, Tennessee. He was reportedly able to travel back to Memphis on March 10. The report noted that Lawler has previously been staying at his residence in Florida to undergo outpatient therapy following his stroke. Lawler, who is 73 years old, most recently appeared for WWE at the January 28 Royal Rumble kickoff show. His most recent public appearance was over the February 4th-5th weekend at a signing in Florida ahead of his hospitalization. It's great to hear that he's back now in his home, in his native state, and he continues on the road to recovery. So thoughts and prayers continue to go out to the King. Now, the Usos have reached another impressive milestone as the SmackDown and, I guess, undisputed WWE Tag Team Champions. The Usos currently hold both Raw and SmackDown Tag Team titles and have defended them both separately. And also together, they unified, of course, the WWE Tag Team Championships too. The brothers notably defeated RK Bro to become double champions in May 2022 in a Raw vs. SmackDown Tag Team Championship winner-takes-all bout. Jimmy NJ had previously won the SmackDown Tag Team Championships from Rey and Dominic Mysterio on July 18, 2021 at that year's Money in the Bank Premium Live event. The Usos have now passed 600 days as champions. This is over triple the length of the second longest SmackDown Tag Team Championship reign, a 182-day stint with the gold from 2017 to 2018, which also belonged to the Usos. The Bloodline members officially became the longest reigning WWE Tag Team Champions of all time on November 14, 2022. On this date, they passed a record of 483 days previously set by Big E, Kofi Kingston, and Xavier Woods of the New Day, who set the record with the championship currently recognized as the Raw Tag Team Championship. Both Jimmy and Jay, of course, appeared on SmackDown this past week, with Jey Uso turning on Sami Zayn on this week's episode of Monday Night Raw. So an impressive milestone hit by the Usos, and they'll continue to do it, I'm sure. Charlotte Flair, of course, is on the road to WrestleMania. She's going to be facing Rhea Ripley, and she's addressed her growth as a performer and taking time to enjoy the ride. Of course, she's a 14-time singles champion, has held Women's Tag Team Championships, won a Royal Rumble match, has headlined WrestleMania. Now, Charlotte says she's taking time to enjoy herself and get her flowers while she still can. Speaking to JR, a Denver, Colorado DJ on the Call to Be You podcast, Charlotte Flair spoke about how she's grown as a performer. She said, quote, "I guess just making the most of every opportunity, and when I get to be on camera, just enjoying it," said Charlotte when asked what's left for her to do in WWE. "I was up to so many years, now it's just like I'm here to get my flowers, guys. I grow so much every year as a performer. I really enjoyed the level of calmness and confidence and the ability to enjoy the audience while I'm out there. Whereas before, maybe sometimes my nerves got the best of me or I wasn't in the moment. Now, every time I'm out there, I'm really enjoying the space in my career." During the interview, she gave insight to where her mind is ahead of her upcoming match at WrestleMania against Rhea Ripley. She said, quote, "I don't think much has changed from the first time they fought at WrestleMania, but yeah, that's kind of where my mind is at. I don't need to beat you, you need to beat me." So Flair says she's just waiting to get her flowers now. Finally, Big E has spoken about his recovery from his broken neck and if he'll ever return to the ring. Big E has said that he'd have to wait a year for another checkup to see how his neck is progressing and if he could potentially return to the ring. Speaking to TMZ, Big E commented on how he's feeling as he prepares to see the doctors. He said, quote, "I just want to make the best decision. I have to see what the scans say, talk to doctors, go from there. Right now, before I know anything, I'm not going to make any rush to judgments, just see how everything looks. No anxiety. Everything is in permanent. If it comes to an end, cool. If it doesn't, cool. What will be, will be. I'm good with whatever." Biggie closed the conversation by delivering a message to the fans saying, quote, life will always give you twists and turns that you don't anticipate. It's about doing the best you can with what you've got. Life is a gift. If you're here, if you're walking, if you're healthy, have your family and friends, you're blessed. Focus on what you do have, not what you don't have." Now, Biggie, of course, continues to work with WWE backstage in a talent scout role, and he works heavily with the Next in Line program in WWE, and here's hoping he can return to the ring. But there you go, guys. It's latest WWE news for you. Be sure to smash a like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe, bottom right hand corner. Let me know your thoughts on today's WWE news stories in the comment section below. Remember, you can join the WN365 roster by clicking that join button, and I'll speak to you again very, very soon.
Hey guys, thank you for watching, listening, streaming, or however you come across this video today. Be sure to click on the video on the right there to watch our next video, or click the bottom there to subscribe, or the bottom right hand corner. Thank you very much, and I'll speak to you again very soon.